Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell on ET Now, show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Today is Friday, and along with Buy Now Sell Now Pathshala, today we have Techie Special on the show. So today we have two technical guests to answer all of your short-term related queries, and you need to write to us on the number that's flashing on your screen. Each time you write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that name as well. And if you already invested, mention the buy price, the quantity, and the time horizon you're intending to keep the stock, or what sort of a strategy you want to play with the stock. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. And like I said, it's Techie Special today. So we have Kunal Bothra on the technicals. Along with Kunal Bothra, we'll be having Aamar Singh, who will be joining us in a short while from now. Very good morning to you, Kunal, once again. And let me start taking the query. The first query that I have is coming in from Venkata Rao. He's writing to us from Visakhapatnam. He's a great fan of you. He's a long-term investor. He wants to know whether he can go ahead and purchase United Spirits and HDFC Life now. What's your take on both of these counters? If they look good, then what's a safe entry price?
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I think both the charts are looking attractive, but I'm not sure whether you're looking at trying to build a portfolio and you already have invested into other sectors. But if you're asking specifically about United Spirits as well as HDFC Life is a very strong candidate of a potential multi-year breakout. The stock had shown a lot of potential in the last 1 or 2 months. Somehow, the news flow, for the stock impacted the stock in the last 1 or 2 days, where you've seen the stock correcting by, I think, 50-70 points from that 750 approximately levels. But I believe that now the stock has come back towards an attractive risk-reward territory at current levels. United Spirits also, I think, is a classical chart, but then the stock has this tendency of trying to come back towards its 20-day moving average or 15-day moving average. So I think in that sense, maybe another dip of 25-30 points for United Spirits, say closer to 1480, 1490 mark, would actually be a very good territory if you're looking at a medium to longer term kind of a trading strategy.
Well, the next query is from Niha from Bangalore, and it's on a couple of stocks. Firstly, on Gillette, she's making a profit of nearly 30%. On NIIT Limited, she's making a profit of nearly 50%. She wants a target on both these counters, keeping in mind the next 1 to 3 months. Amar, any technical view on Gillette India and NIIT Limited?
Yeah, so looking at first NIIT, if she has a position in NIIT, so definitely she should hold on to her position because the stock is very strong on the charts, on the long-term charts, on the intermediate-term trend. Currently, we are witnessing some sort of consolidation, but she can definitely hold on to her position. Some very good stop loss or crucial support for the stock is seen below the 160 mark. Whereas on the upside, the stock needs to sustain above the 200 mark for any further rally. Otherwise, the stock could go in for consolidation. Talking about the other stock, Gillette India. Gillette India has had a fantastic rally, and currently, again, it's witnessing some sort of consolidation. So if she has positions in Gillette India, she should look at booking at least part profit, if not complete profit, because the trend for the stock still remains positive and strong on the intermediate term, on the long-term trend. But on the short term, we are witnessing some consolidation. So till the time the stock again does not sustain above the 9,000 level, we could witness some consolidation between 8,500 on the downside and 9,400 to 500 on the upside.
All right, Kunal, coming to you. This one is coming from Anand. He's writing to us from Karnataka. He wants to make a fresh entry in Dr. Reddy's or any other pharmaceutical stocks which look good for the longer term. Though it's a techie special, I'll still take this one to you. What's your take on Dr. Reddy's? How are the charts looking? Is it looking attractive? One of the reasons why also is because pharma is making a comeback right now.
It's making a comeback, but you always have to look out for classic risk reward, because the point of trading on a longer term basis is not to buy the stocks at a higher level, but buy them when they come back in towards a retracement mode. Now, Dr. Reddy, yes, in the last 1 week or so, the stock has corrected by 5%, 5 to 6% approximately, but it's still not come back in towards a mean reversion zone where the risk reward would start to look a lot more attractive. So maybe I think if the stock cools off to 6,200, 6,300 mark, that could be a starting point for you to look at a buy on Dr. Reddy. If not, then I think if you're looking at some other pharma name, I would probably believe DV Slab could be a better bet at current levels.
The next query is from Nikil Sharma from Mumbai. He has 17 shares of Axis Bank, bought at a price of 1,183. He wants to know whether should he exit this counter and would it okay. He wants to know whether should he exit ITC and L&T as well, and what should he do with Axis Bank. Amar, any view on Axis Bank, ITC and L&T?
Yeah, see, Axis Bank, though, he can hold on to his positions currently because Axis Bank, we did witness some sort of correction from almost 1300 levels, and currently it's around 1200 odd or so. So he can hold on to his positions in Axis Bank. As far as IT is concerned, ITC is concerned, I would say ITC is one stock one can keep from a long-term perspective because this is again a slow and steady sort of company, but more defensive in the current market scenario. This could be one stock one can definitely keep a close watch on, or maybe invest or stay invested from a longer term perspective. And on corrections also, this is one stock one can definitely look at buying, but more from a long term perspective.
Next one is coming in from Ramesh from Delhi. He wants to know about BPCL, 200 shares at a price of 319 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell, because yesterday the recommendation was a sell with a target of around 250 rupees per share, but the stock is going higher. Kunal, what's your take?
Yeah, but you have to look at it this way, that this is a stock which could be prone towards the movement of crude oil prices. Now, yes, luckily, fortunately, we've seen the crude oil prices remain to a range with a mild downward trajectory at $70. So maybe the stock is getting back into a potential breakout move. So it's going to be very volatile towards the near to medium term if you're looking at these kind of names. Now, in terms of a price point, if you're looking to enter the stock, I would probably believe closer to 325, 330 could be a good range for you to look at a buy on BPCL. The near-term target for the stock is closer to 365, which is also the recent swing resistance for the stock. But I think 325 approximately could be a better bet if you're looking at a better zone if you're looking at a bet on the stock of the near to medium term.
The next query is from Madhuri and it's on Route Mobile. She wants to know whether can she make a fresh entry at current levels. Amar, your view on Route Mobile?
Yeah, so if I look at this stock, what we are seeing here is the stock, after a lot of consolidation, has started moving up, and currently it's around 1690 or so. And if we look at the stocks in terms of its quarterly performance, that also has been, I would say, overall, there is still scope for improvement, but the stock has been doing well in terms of sales growth. So from that perspective, one can look at fresh entry at the current levels, but upside towards 1800 is something that one can keep from a short-term perspective.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from Rajesh Maheshwari from Indore, and his query is about Bajaj Finance. He has about 24 shares at an average price of 6,700 rupees per share. He wants to know how's the short to medium term outlook on Bajaj Finance looking like, whether it makes sense to stay invested or exit. And also, he wants to know how is the listing of Bajaj Home Finance going to help the counter. Actually, first, before I come to you, Kunal, on this query, let me actually talk about Bajaj Housing Finance actually with Somit, because Somit, you've read a lot of notes on this one, and you've actually done a detailed analysis as well on Bajaj Housing Finance. So what is something that one needs to watch out for when you are talking about this one coming in from the group of Bajaj?
Well, see, definitely Bajaj Housing Finance listing could increase, in fact, the SOTP of Bajaj Finance, given the fact that Bajaj Finance owns nearly 88.7% stake in Bajaj Housing Finance. Now, at base price, if you look at Bajaj Housing Finance forms nearly 9% of the SOTP value of Bajaj Finance. Now, if there's a 50% listing, then the SOTP value of Bajaj Finance increases by nearly 4.5%. But given the strong subscription, the grey market premium is at least suggesting a listing gain of nearly 90 odd percent, and if that goes through, then Bajaj Finance SOTP increases by nearly 8%, and if there is a listing gain of nearly 100 odd percent, then the SOTP could increase by anywhere around 9 to 10 odd percent for Bajaj Finance. Also, this will make Bajaj Housing Finance the most expensive housing finance company on street. A 90% listing would increase the FY26 price to book value of Bajaj Housing Finance to around 5 times, while if you compare the valuations of its peers like LIC Housing, Canfin Homes, PNB Housing, Awas Financiers, Aptus Value and Home First, they trade anywhere between 1 to 3.5 times. So definitely we could see a re-rating coming in the housing finance NBFCs, and also there could be an increase in the SOTP value of Bajaj Finance because of a strong listing for Bajaj Housing Finance.
All right, so that's all about that you needed to know about Bajaj Housing Finance, what it means for Bajaj Finance. But Kunal, let me come to to you now for the query then. What's your take coming in on Bajaj Finance? 27 shares at an average price of 6,700 rupees per share.
Yeah, for quite some time the stock has of course shown a lot of price volume activity. Of course the buzz around the IPO I think has kept the stock as well as Bajaj Finance and Finserv both on an active mode. I strongly believe that it's a quality stock to have from a long term play. You've bought also at a reasonable price, which means that the risk reward for you to hold on to it from current levels is also very attractive. I would definitely suggest a hold on Bajaj Finance if you're a long term investor.
Okay. The next query is coming in from. Okay, the next guy is coming in from Gaurav from Bangalore. He wants to know, can he enter Poonawalla FinCorp for a very short term? Any targets for this month? In fact, he wants to know. And also he wants to know entry price when it comes to Bank of Maharashtra. But this is not for this month. A bit of longish target he would want on Bank of Maharashtra. Amar, any view on Poonawalla FinCorp from short term perspective and Bank of Maharashtra for a little longish target? Anything on that?
Poonawalla, what we are seeing here is that the stock has corrected by almost 20% and is very close to its crucial support zone. So somewhere around 340 from where the stock has bounced back. That's a very strong support zone. But again, upside seems to be capped around the 415, 420 zone. So that's it on the upside. That's going to be the upside cap, because till the time we don't see the stock sustaining above 420 levels, it could be in for consolidation. Looking at the other stock which you mentioned, Maharashtra, Bank of Maharashtra, if I look at that, again, it's very close to its crucial support zone, which is somewhere around the current levels only. So I would say this can be a good buying opportunity from a short-term perspective, but because the long-term trend is positive, intermediate-term trend is very negative. But since it's close to crucial support zone, so we are seeing this sort of bounce back, which is happening today. But the big question is it going to sustain? So one can look at where buying opportunity upside anywhere 64, 65 is where one can look at from a short-term perspective. Only sustaining above 65 odd levels, could you expect some rally? But upside is definitely capped around the 70 odd levels.
Well, that was the view coming in on Poonawalla FinCorp and Bank of Maharashtra. With that, let's slip into a short break and we'll address more of your queries post that.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of your stock related queries then. And the next query I have is on IDFC first. This one is coming to you, Amar. Our viewer Jay from Mumbai has actually purchased 10,000 shares of IDFC First Bank at the price of around 89 rupees per share. He wants to know whether it's a hold or a sell.
See, if I look at IDFC First Bank from a long-term perspective, so the bank has been having decent sales growth over the last 3 years, so somewhere around 20%, 23% odd sales growth we've been witnessing. And if I compare it against its peers, so it's definitely on the PE, so it's slightly on the higher side, but still there is an opportunity in this stock from a long-term perspective. So if he's willing to hold on to his position from a long-term perspective, then he can definitely hold on for at least for a year or two.
Kunal, the next query is for you. It's from Vivek. He wants to know any good consumption stock which is at a multi-year breakout.
So if it's from the FMCG basket you're looking out for, then I think HUL is something which is looking attractive at current levels of 2,900. The stock seems to have done reasonably well, confirmed a multi-year breakout for itself. Britannia is something which is also the other name which has started to look very attractive given the way the volumes have started to shape up in the last 5-6 days of this heightened breakout for the stock. But the only catch, as I mentioned earlier, is that potentially these stocks have outperformed over the last 2-3 months. So there could be a period where these stocks may remain a bit more sideways. So I think buying on dip strategy could be a better strategy rather than buying the entire chunk at current levels.
Okay, this one is coming in from Satya. He wants to know about Granules, at what levels to enter this particular counter. We know that Granules has been actually seeing a sharp decline. In fact, today also the stock was under pressure on back of the Form 483 that is coming from the US FDA with key observations that could actually indicate that there would be some serious concerns when you talk about the quality control or data integrity. So you saw the stock actually see a downtick approximately 15% or so on an intraday basis yesterday. Today also the stock opened lower by about 3.5%. But Amar, coming to you, do you think that it makes sense to now enter Granules India, or you believe that let the news flow volatility pass for this one?
I would say markets seems to have already discounted the news flows which have come in, because the stock has had a significant correction, more than 20% correction from its recent highs, or I would say all-time highs. And if I look at the stock clearly, the stock is trying to find some support around the 520, 530 levels. If I look at the stock from a fundamental perspective, the stock has been, or the company has been witnessing, I would say, double-digit growth in terms of sales and profitability. And overall, the pharma space has a lot of opportunity going forward with regard to some of the steps that are being taken by the US to how to ensure that China is left out to a certain extent. So these are certain factors which could benefit some of the pharma companies, and that's the reason we are seeing the positivity here. So Granules India, current levels somewhere around 530, 520. That's a very good level from where the stock could witness some bounce back, and it appears that the news has more or less been discounted.
The next query is from Rakesh Gupta from Delhi. He has around 100 shares of IndusInd Bank bought at a price of 1,443 rupees. There has not been much movement in the stock of late, so he wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter or sell.
There's always a lull before a storm. I believe that the stock is poised for a very attractive breakout from current levels. So yes, the stock has gone through a period of inactivity in the last 4-5 months. But my sense is that IndusInd Bank is getting back into a potential breakout. So there are two patterns which are very important. One is on the short-term charts. The stock is on the verge of an inverted head and shoulder pattern breakout. It's almost like an 100 to 120 pointer pattern for IndusInd Bank. And the second, the most important part, is the potential breakout of the 200 moving average. That I believe could probably propel the stock and the momentum for the stock, which has been missing over the last many months of this price correction for IndusInd Bank. So would be very bullish on the stock in the near to medium term, and since you've bought at current levels, would suggest a hold.
All right, this next query that I have is coming in from Gaurav from Bangalore. Wants to know about Poonawalla FinCorp. Oh, sorry, that one is already taken. This one is coming for you, for Kunal, once again from Indu. She wants to know about entry point for Bajaj Finserv and Home First Finance, and if they are good to hold positionally. You spoke about finance, what about Finserv?
See, what happens is for Finserv specifically, I think this recent consolidation, what we saw for Finserv, which is I think last 3-4 days back, 1820 or 25, if I'm not wrong, was the low the stock had made or tested. I think that low would probably become a good support point for the stock, because the volumes have been missing for the stock in the last 4-5 days, which means it's going through a patch of consolidation. Yes, the stock is at a higher end of the consolidation, but eventually once the momentum cools down, the stock should be able to retest the previous swing lows. So if you're asking for a better entry point, I think closer to 1800, 1825 could be a better entry point for Bajaj Finserv.
The next query is from Pranjali from Kolkata. She has around 250 shares of RBL Bank bought at a price of 226 rupees. She's asking whether should she average out her shares right now or should invest in any other PSU bank. If any other PSU bank, then which one would you suggest, Amar?
Yeah, so if I look at RBL Bank, overall RBL Bank has witnessed some sharp correction, but at the current levels, I wouldn't recommend her to exit, because the stock is likely to witness a pullback from the current levels towards 230. If she wants to exit, 230, 240 could be a level. 230, between 230 to 240 is an opportunity where she can look at exiting. And if she wants to add on to some banks, then maybe private sector, ICICI Bank is one she can look at. Even Kotak Mahindra Bank from a long-term perspective is something she can consider.
All right, this next query is coming in from Rohit Bhagat. He wants to know about Vun Beverages as well as CDSL. Does it make sense to buy today for a period of 2 years, Kunal?
Well, these are quality stocks which you must probably hold on to from a longer-term play. Now, CDSL, I think the recent charts has gone through a correction from 1600 to now 1380 adjusted prices, of course. And same is the case with Vun Beverages. The stock has gone to a patch of consolidation. So buying the stocks at current levels could be attractive. The only concern, or the only thing which you need to ponder about, is that don't look at these charts as a short-term play. These are quality stocks which you must hold from a long-term kind of a play to try and encash the larger uptrend which these stocks have been going through.
The next query is coming in from Deepika, and she has around 25 shares of SBI, bought at a price of 365. She's already sitting on a very handsome profit here. What should be her strategy here? Should she continue to hold this counter? Should she book profits for some time right now? Amar, what would you suggest?
Yeah, as far as SBI is concerned, we are seeing some sort of topping out pattern in SBI. So ideally, she can look at booking some profits, definitely, but she should wait out right now because the stock is, after the sharp correction, the stock is inching towards an upside. So towards 800 and 808.20, she can look at booking at least 50% profits, and rest she can hold on to a position.
All right, this one is coming in from Gajanan. He wants to know about TVs Holdings. Kunal, his buy price is 1500 rupees per share. He's a long-term investor. Should he hold or look to exit? And if you are suggesting that he should go ahead and exit, then should he invest in Bajaj Finance, Tata Com, or for the matter of fact, ICICI Bank? 1500 is what he's mentioned his buy price.
Yeah, and the stock is already 10x, but I don't see any reason why you should be looking to exit the stock, because these are the kind of compounders which tends to propel your portfolios to much higher levels. I don't see any reason to sell the stock, but yes, if you are asking the other part that whether buying Bajaj Finance, Finserv and such other names could be a good strategy at current levels, I would believe yes. But then you don't need to sell your current holdings in TVs Holdings and then enter into these stocks. If possible, there's a fresh capital, then try to deploy that.
The next query is from Kanak Kothari from Ahmedabad. He's holding 500 shares of Jubilant Pharma, bought at a price of 579.8 rupees, and Marksans Pharma 1000 shares, bought at a price of 159. Amar, should he continue to hold these counters or sell?
No, I would say as far as Jubilant Pharma is concerned or Marksans Pharma is concerned, he should hold on to his positions because currently the pharma index and the pharma stocks are in a very strong bull rally, just like FMCG. So I would recommend that he should hold on to his positions and should not be in a hurry to exit. He can definitely trail his positions, but not exit at the current levels.
So coming from Sunny, he's writing to us from Kolkata. He wants to know about Concord, Kunal. He's saying that he got stuck at the levels of around 1060 rupees per share. That's his buy price. 55 shares of Concord. He wants to know what's your guidance. Can it break out and surpass his buy price?
Well, yeah, I think that should happen because the stock has already gone through a 4-month correction. If I'm not wrong, from the June highs or July highs of 1150 approximately, it's already been 3.5 to 4 months for the stock to get into a correction. Now, the good part about the stock is that the indicators have started to enter into the oversold territory for Concord, which means that close to this 950 mark, the stock should form a time-wise as well as a price-wise bottom. Now, maybe the stock over the next 1 or 2 months could probably consolidate, but I think broadly this 900 to 950 range should act as a strong support for the stock. So, if you're looking to maybe average out further so that you can reduce the cost price, then I think closer to 900 levels is where you should look to average Concord.
Okay, the next query is coming in from Sangita from Pune. She wants to invest in IT and sugar companies for a longish period. Amar, any stocks in IT and sugar space?
So among the IT, she can see IT. Most of the IT stocks have witnessed a significant rally, and the rally isn't appearing to end anyway soon. So at the current levels, might be slightly difficult to recommend given the risk-reward ratio. But on corrections, one can definitely look at, for example, Mindtree is there, Infosys is there, which you can consider from a long-term perspective. As far as sugar companies are concerned, sugar companies, we see a lot of, I would say, means in terms of policy updates or that has an impact on the sugar companies. So, and most of them have rallied. So, I wouldn't recommend entering fresh into sugar companies at the current rates.
All right, this was coming from Thomas George writing to us from Kochi. He has Federal Bank, about 1000 shares of Federal Bank at a price of around 190 rupees per share. Kunal, should he stay put with Federal Bank or look to exit somewhere around his buy price right now?
See, I think you should stay put. So there are two reasons. One is Federal Bank is among the better performing, mid-cap into the banking names, private sector banking names. The stock has done reasonably well. Yes, it's a low beta stock and it tends to get back into a correction every now and then, or rather mean reversion point. So currently also I think it's going through a mean reversion point. The most important point is that I'm bullish on the banking index. Looking at the prospect of the banking stocks and the Bank Nifty chart, my expectation is that we should be looking at a much more stronger rally for the Bank Nifty going forward. So in both the anticipation, I would suggest a hold.
Well, Kunal, I would come to you only for the next query. It's from Renuka from Kerala. It's on HDFC Bank. Should she buy at current levels?
Yeah, I think you can look to buy at current levels also for HDFC Bank. The stock has gone through a time-wise consolidation. But, look at it this way, that the stock has digested all the news flow surrounding the MSA adjustment. There's been a lot of selling into the stock. But then the stock has remained into a range, which means that potentially even this stock can come out of a time-wise as well as a price-wise consolidation breakout. So I think it's a matter of time. If you're a long-term investor, then I think at current levels of 1650 approximately, it's a good territory to try and buy the stock.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from Subramania, who's writing to us from Bangalore. Wants to know about Colgate. 500 shares purchased at the levels of 3,680 rupees per share, saying that the stock is coming down. What is the chart throwing up? Is there any possibility that the stock will recover? Amar, what's your take?
Colgate has been, I would say, a very strong performer currently. On the short-term charts, we are seeing some sort of profit booking. That's the reason the stock is correcting. So he's entered at comparatively at a higher level post the sharp rally. So ideally, today's low is something, or I would say somewhere around 3,500 is a very strong support zone. But upside seems to be capped around 3680, 3,700 levels. So if he gets an opportunity, he should look at exiting the stock because the short-term trend clearly points towards consolidation. However, the long-term trend and the intermediate-term trend, they continue to remain very strong and positive for Colgate.
Well, that was the view coming in on Colgate. With that, let's slip into a short break and we'll address more of your queries post that. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now. The next query is coming in from Nishi from Bangalore. She is holding few shares of PNB Housing Finance bought at a price of 1,400 rupees. Should she continue to hold this counter or exit? Kunal, what would be your view here?
I think it's a fabulous chart on the short-term basis. The stock has found its regained its momentum after last month's news flow for the stock, where it moved from 800 to I think 900 in a matter of couple of days. From there, the stock has found its momentum back again. I think it looks very attractive. Since you bought at higher levels, I would suggest to hold on to the stock if possible, and in case if the stock provides a correction, say closer to 1,050, 1,020 mark, that should be a point where you could look to even average out further.
All right, this one is coming from Bhagwan. He's writing to us from Mumbai. He has L&T Finance, 300 shares at a price of 118 rupees per share, 200 shares of ONGC at 331, and Vedanta at 467 rupees per share for the next 6 months. What's the take coming in, Amar? Because he's saying that all the stocks are below his buy price. So what should he do now? 188 for L&T Finance, ONGC is 331, and for Vedanta is 467.
So L&T Finance, he should definitely hold on to the stock because what we are seeing in L&T Finance is that the stock did correct, but it's trying to pull back over the last couple of days, sustaining of the 174.75 mark. The stock has a potential to rally towards immediately towards 180.82, and if that is breached, then the stock could rally towards its all-time highs of 200 levels. Looking at the other stock, ONGC, which you mentioned, so ONGC again has corrected from its highs from almost 340 currently around 300 odd levels to 1993. It's approaching very crucial support zones, so there can be a pullback. So ideally, he should look at exiting whenever he gets an opportunity in ONGC. And the third stock which you mentioned, Vedanta. So Vedanta also has been consolidating, and it did correct, but it has pulled back quite sharply. But again, the intermediate term trend of this of Vedanta clearly points out that the stock is in for consolidation. So ideally, he should look at exiting opportunities if he gets into Vedanta as well.
Next query is from Jitendra from Noida. He has bought 350 shares of Geo Finance at a price of 349. He wants to know a target on this counter for the next 6 months, Kunal.
So if you ask me for the next 6 months, I would be bullish on the stock with a target potential closer to 385 to 400 for Geo Finance. That's where the stock made a high. I think 395 approximately was the high the stock had made. From there, the stock had corrected back towards 310, 315 mark, and now it's at the midpoint of this 90-pointer consolidation, which means that the stock should be able to retest the previous breakout. Now, the best part about the charts for Geo Finance is in this last 1 month of price uptick or mild uptick for the stock, the volumes have been almost 2x from the previous zone of the stock going to a downtrend and consolidation. So that's a clear indication that the stock is heading towards a breakout, and we could be looking at a potential retest of the previous highs. 395 could be a decent target for the next 6 months.
All right, this next one is coming in from Shekhar from Bangalore. He wants to know about Tata Motors. He's purchased at levels of 1,077 rupees per share, about 100 shares of Tata Motors. He wants to know whether he can average this one. What's your take on Tata Motors actually, Amar?
See, Tata Motors has corrected and currently it's below the 1,000 level. And the intermediate term trend, the short term trend, they continue to remain negative. But the stock is approaching crucial support zone. So ideally, if you look at the stock has got very strong support coming around the 950, 960 zone. So if he wishes to average, then maybe that's the level where he should look at averaging. From there, we could witness some pullback. But yes, upside seems to be capped around the 1,080, 1,100 levels.
It's from Subramaniam from Chennai. He's holding 70 shares of Wellspun Living, bought at a price of 93.7 rupees. He wants to know whether should he continue to accumulate this counter or exit or buy at lower levels. Any short-term target also, if you could suggest, Kunal?
So I think current levels is good enough for you to buy the stock. Now 210 was the recent high for Wellspun Living. The stock has come back towards 175. The previous support for the stock is closer to 172. So which means that we are now entering into the strong support territory for Wellspun Living. So I think if you're a medium to long term investor, good zone where you can look to buy.
All right, this next one is coming from Joseph George. He's writing to us from Kerala. He wants to know whether it's good to hold Bharat Dynamics in the portfolio or look to exit. Amar, he's not mentioned his buy price or the quantity that he's purchased with Bharat Dynamics, with the rest of the PSU packs, rest of the defense PSU packs. This one also has seen a correction, a sizable correction over the last 3 months. What's your take? How's the chart looking? Should one stay put with this one?
Yeah, I definitely shouldn't get out at the current levels because if I look at the long-term trend continues to remain strong and positive. On the downside, 1150, 1180 is a very crucial support zone. So ideally, from there, we could witness a pullback in the stock, but upside seems to be capped around the 1400 levels.
He's coming in from Somashri from Kolkata, and she has around 10 shares of Reliance Industries, bought at a price of 2,900. She wants to know whether should she continue with this counter. Kunal, any view on this?
Yeah, I continue to hold on. The stock has come back towards an attractive territory at 2,900 mark. The recent high was 3,200, and it's been very rare kind of a phenomenon where Reliance has not participated when the index has moved up higher. So my expectation is going forward, the stock could try and play a catch up for itself. So would suggest a hold.
All right, this was coming from Sudhir. He wants to know about Bata India. He's holding about 1,000 shares at a price of 1,710 rupees per share. What's your take coming in on this one, Amar? Because, fundamentally also when you see all of these footwear companies, they've not been making good moves when it comes to their earnings, the way how the business has been performing. But on the charts also is not looking that great for Bata India in particular. What's your take?
Yeah, I would say Bata India did witness some significant rally from almost 1,300 levels to 1,600 in the first week of August, and then it has corrected all the way towards 1,440. So ideally, there's a lot of resistance on the upside towards 1,470, 1,480 on the upside. Till the time we don't see that taken out, the stock is in for consolidation, but within a very narrow range. So you can say 1,400 to 1,500 is the zone of short-term zone for Bata India. Sustaining above 1,500 only, then you can expect some rally towards 1,600 or so. Overall, if you ask me, the long-term charts are also not that promising. So it's more of a range play, but a very good play from a trading range perspective.
All right, so that's the query coming in on Bata India, and that was indeed the last query on this techie special episode of Buy Now Sell Now. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Amar, for being a part of the show and taking all of our stock-related queries. With that, viewers, we come to end of this week's edition of Buy Now Sell Now as well. So it's a goodbye from Somit, myself, our producer Somashri, our director Ravinder, as well as Santosh. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Markets at Noon is up next with Anisha and Somit.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.